Being poor forever can be an incredibly daunting prospect. We work hard, invest, and do everything we can to avoid poor financial situations. But there are a few poor habits that could be silently sabotaging our wealth building efforts. These poor habits may seem harmless on the surface, but they can have a long term negative impact on our finances if left unchecked. An unwillingness to take risks can keep you from tapping into opportunities to make more money. Poor people often lack the ambition, drive, and motivation to take the necessary steps to build wealth. Not being able to afford the things you desire or even some of life's necessities makes the idea of poverty all the more daunting. So remember, it's only you who breaks this cage of low standard life. Hey, welcome to Premium Experience. In this video, we're going to address something really important: 10 habits that keep you poor forever. If you are guilty of any of these, then it's time for a change. For a lot of people, that they think if they just work hard enough, they'll be able to get out of their situation. But that's not always the case. Certain things keep us stuck in poverty. And today I'm going to share with you what they are. Number one is not having a budget. Poor people often don't have a budget habit or any plan to spend their money wisely. They also tend to they take loans easily without realizing the long-term implications of debt. This can put them in a dangerous financial situation as they accumulate high interest debts with no clear way out. Poor people often take out loans or a credit card debt just to cover the cost of the day-to-day expenses rather than relying on loan sharks and other sources or, those questionable credit. Why not start paying more attention to your bills and create a budget? It's an important step for anyone who is struggling to make ends meet but doesn't want to accrue debt. So if you must start paying more attention to your finances and begin planning for your future, it can be crucial when expenses are more than the salary. But by taking a closer look at your spending habit, you can find areas you're needlessly overspending and make necessary adjustments to get back on track. Start tracking your spending and cutting back on what isn't vital to create a budget that works for you. It's not always easy, but the reward for grabbing control of your finances is more of a necessary or steaming services you no longer use. It's never too late to start taking control of your spending and get it back on track with your budget. So why not take action? Now your wallet will thank you for it. Number two is lifestyle inflation. One of the biggest traps that you can fall into when your income increases are succumbing to lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation means that, as the income rises, so does your spending. However, if you make sure lifestyle inflation means that as your income rises, so does your spending. However, if you make sure to stick to the budgeting and remain mindful of your spending choices, you can make the most of its extra income and make it work for you. It's always a good idea to make sure that your spending doesn't exceed 50 of your earnings, since this can lead you down a slippery slope towards financial ruin. It's not uncommon for celebrities and other high-profile personalities to face lifestyle inflation due to poor financial decisions. A prime benchmark of this is actor Nicolas Cage, who weighed over $150 million during his career and managed to make bad investments, which led him to massive debt. This could have been easily avoided if he had adopted better habits and made a plan for his finances by taking the vital steps to make a budget and make sure that your spending is within your means. You can make the most of any extra income you make. Number three is drugs or alcohol addiction. Poor people are especially prone to drug and alcohol addictions as it is seen as a temporarily cope with the struggles of life. Unfortunately, these addictions make it difficult for them to get out of poverty, often trapping them in a cycle of continued financial hardship. Consider Nina. She earns $1,000 each month and spends over $300 on drugs and alcohol because she feels like she needs them to survive. Over time, this will take a huge toll on her finances, and soon enough, she'll be spending more money than ever before on these substances. And drug, alcohol addictions can make it nearly impossible for people living in poverty to break the cycle, trapping them in a perpetual cycle of financial strength. Not only that, but also consuming alcohol has numerous negative health effects, making it much harder to work and earn a living. It's time to stop glorifying drug and alcohol use. It may appear fun or cool, but the risks associated with lifestyle are immense. A great example of a personality that faced potential financial loss due to substance abuse is rapper 50 Cent. He famously lost millions of dollars in bankruptcy as a result of his addiction to alcohol and drugs and the addiction that he had. It's an incredibly poor mindset, and we all must recognize the consequences to protect our finances and financial security as well as well-being. Remember, be wise when consuming drugs and alcohol. Take care of yourself and your finances. You deserve it. Number four is impulse buying. Financially insecure individuals tend to act impulsively when it comes to making purchases, often disregarding the potential repercussions and not taking into account the advantages or disadvantages of their decisions. As a result, these impulse buyers, well, they're frequently dealt with severe financial losses as they continuously buy goods that were never budgeted for and rarely consider how their actions may impact them in the long run. Financially insecure individuals tend to act impulsively when it comes to making purchases, often disregarding the potential repercussions and not taking into account the advantages or disadvantages of the decisions. Unfortunately, even wealthy individuals are not immune. Singer Kylie Jenner accumulated a debt of $25 million from her hasty buys, while actor Nicolas Cage went bankrupt after spending over $150 million on his impulsivity. When it comes to impulse buying, no amount of wealth is enough. Impulse buying can be a real financial trap, like living in an endless cycle of instant gratification. It's easy to think that you can always get what you deserve and you deserve an award, but the truth is your finances will soon take a hit before making a purchase. Take the time to ask yourself if this is something you need or just want. And be honest with yourself. Be honest with your answer. Impulse spending is like a cage. It's an easy habit to fall into, but one that's hard to break. Number 5. Number 5 is always upgrading your electronic devices. Do you often find yourself wanting the newest electronic devices? Whether it's a brand new microwave or the latest smartphone, these upgrades are quite expensive. People with limited incomes tend to invest their money in unnecessary items, so why not try and save your hard-earned cash by being more mindful of what you purchase? Instead of always upgrading, consider investing in reliable products that will last longer than just one season. Rather than spending your money on expensive upgrades, why not save instead? This way to get up with the latest gadgets and still have something to show for. Well, if you're worried about missing, and I mean missing out, of the newest releases, consider setting aside a fixed amount of money each month towards buying a new device when an upgrade comes out. In the end, always remember that upgrading your electronic devices is not essential, and it can be avoided if you need to be spending your money wisely and saving for a rainy day. Should always be your priority, so before splurging on unnecessary upgrades, consider if it's worth it in the long run. Number 6 is gambling. Poor people are more likely to have a terrible financial habit, gambling. Gambling is an activity that promises the possibility of big wins, but it can only make you poorer if a gambler fails to stop their money, and it will quickly dwindle and they'll be thrown into a pool of endless debt. Research has found that many gamblers find it difficult to get their finances back on track after gambling, meaning that this behavior can have an enduring impact on your finances. One example of this is the story of Jamie Jones, who fell victim to problem gambling and eventually became homeless. After years of trying to win the big, he ended up with nothing but debt and despair. Stories such as Jamie's are sadly all too common, and they serve as a gremlin leader of the dangers of gambling away your money. If you want to get back on your track with finances and stay there, make sure that you make smart financial decisions now in the future, so you don't end up far worse than when you started off. Gambling can have serious financial repercussions, so it's not easy to break away from bad financial habits, but it's possible if you take the time and effort, the dedication, and the right mindset. Take charge of your financial future and don't let gambling get in the way. Number 7 is focusing on the present. Failing to plan for the future is a dangerous habit that many of those with limited resources fall into, and it could result in financial ruin and further down the line. Don't push your problems aside when you can't solve them right away. Better educate yourself about a possible solution. It can be daunting to think about the future when you're trying to focus on the present, but here's the thing: if you only focus on what's happening right now without considering how your financial decisions may affect you in the future, then chances are you'll put yourself at a risk of the financial disaster. Flawed habits of thinking is in present can cause you to ignore pending tasks for the future, which could have negative long-term repercussions. That's why it's important to think about not just what you're doing now, but also how your decisions may affect your financial status in the future. Doing this will help you make sounder financial decisions and ensure that you're headed to a better place and in the right direction. Take it from us. Investing a bit of time today can save you a lot of trouble tomorrow. Number 8 is postponing important decisions. Most of us tend to procrastinate at one point or another, postponing important decisions to the very, very last second. For a serial procrastinator, that will make your life easier and wealthier in the long run. Have you ever considered that your future self depends on you making the right decisions now, because this will determine the type of life you're going to lead in a few years? Poor people usually have one big problem: they postpone important decisions. Poor people lack they often lack the courage and confidence to make a decision. As a result, they never take action, leading to stagnation in life. To make a successful exit from poverty, it is essential to swiftly make decisions. Those in difficult financial circumstances often hesitate and overthink the outcomes of their choices. However, this habit must be abandoned for yet well-informed judgments, and it can help you reap incredible rewards. Poor people need to learn the assets, risks, weight options, and make decisions confidently without delaying their actions. For example, you could decide to respond to emails within 24 hours or read a business book every week. These small changes can help you become more decisive and successful in the long run. Number 9 is expecting a miracle. Although it is natural to yearn for a thing extraordinary that might revolutionize our fate, must be vigilant about not depending exclusively on miracles. Doing so could put your financial future in jeopardy. Relying on a chance lottery win or prospect windfall from an unknown ancestor may seem like the only option to some, yet it is not worth counting on. If you're earnestly striving for financial security and success, don't wait around and hope for a miracle. You have the power to reach your goals without delay by simply taking control of matters yourself. Put in the hard work, whether that be searching for employment or saving money. So when chances rise, you can make them count, taking risks and doing what you can do and bring out what you want and bring about more success than sitting back and waiting on some sort of divine intervention. So go ahead, take charge of your future today. Number 10 is ignoring your debt. Neglecting your debt is a nothing short of financial suicide. Playing with fire but ignoring the interest on your debt can lead to bigger and more difficult managing amounts of debt, especially when compounded by increasing interest rates that can leave you stuck in a never-ending loop of monetary deficiency and poorer prospects. Financially speaking, making it impossible to save money or even make ends meet. We understand that addressing your debts can be daunting, but it is still possible to break free from the cycle of poverty and get your finances back on track. You may be stuck in an endless cycle of financial hardship, unable to save or even make ends meet. We understand the intimidating nature of tackling debt and how difficult it can be to break away from poverty. However, there is still a chance for you to regain control of your finances. Taking action now will help you avoid the long-term consequences of debt buildup and interest rates, so make sure to take those steps today towards a more secure financial future. With the right steps and focus, you can escape from this debt cycle. Save more money and improve your overall financial outlook. Don't let debts control and take charge of your life. You take charge of your finances today by taking stock of your current situation, working out a budget plan that is feasible for you, and seeking app advice or guidance from professionals to get you help and get you on the right path. You can do it. Let's make sure that you don't have to live with debt any longer. If you're new to our channel and you like such amazing content, make sure you have subscribed to our channel, and you can also follow us on social media and leave your feedback and comments